Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with the deck profile of the Shinobird Turbo deck. I'll just go over everything in here, and then I'll explain how it works. So for monsters, we're playing 1 Susa Soldier, 2 Yaksha, 1 Asura Priest, 2 Shinobird Crane, 3 Manju of the 10,000 Hands, 3 Aratama, 3 Nikitama, 3 Shinobaron Peacock, and 2 Shinobaroness Peacock. For our spells, we're playing 3 Pre-Preparations of Rites, 3 Shinobird Calling, and 3 Shinobird Power Spot. For our traps, we're playing 2 Quaking Mirror Force, 3 Drowning Mirror Force, 3 Lost Wind, and 3 Shinobird Healing. The extra deck has 1 number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy, 1 Utopia the Lightning, 1 Utopia Prime, Dark Rebellion Ixie Dragon, Vanilla Utopia, Ragna Zero, Crooked Cook, Silent Honor Arc, Giant Hand, Heartland Draco, Castell, Diamond Direwolf, Gagaga Samurai, Gagaga Cowboy, and number 80 Rhapsody and Berserk. The side deck I'll go over a little bit later. So this deck mostly runs off these 2 boss monsters, the Shinobaron and the Shinobaroness. They have similar effects. They're both level 8 ritual spirits. The Shinobaron basically says that when he's summoned, you can return up to 3 monsters your opponent controls to the hand, which does not target, and then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower spirit monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. The Shinobaroness, meanwhile, will send up to 3 spell traps your opponent controls back into the deck, and then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower spirit monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And like with all spirits, if you're unfamiliar with them, they'll return to the hand during the end phase. These ones, though, when they return to the hand, they'll summon 2 level 4 tokens that have 1500 attack, 1500 defense, which you can use as a defense wall you could tribute to summon them out again, or just in general to attack for 1500 once you've cleared the field. So overall, this is kind of like a stun deck or an advantage deck. You summon both of these and you're getting rid of a lot of your opponent's resources, usually up to 3 cards, plus you're summoning another monster. You can attack for a bunch, and then hopefully you're going to be able to do it again next turn. The Shinobirds actually have quite a lot in the ways of recursion, most notably the Shinobird Power Spot. This will not only give all your face-up spirit monsters 500 attack and defense, but if a wind monster you control is returned to the hand, you can add 1 spirit monster or ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. And the Shinobirds are all wind, so when they return to the hand, if you have this out, you can add your Shinobird Calling, your ritual spell, back into your hand from your deck. This ritual spell is notable because not only does it let you use monsters from your hand or on the field, but it also lets you use spirit monsters that are in the graveyard. So even if you use 2 spirits or one of your bigger spirits to summon it the first time, the second time you can just banish those same resources out of the graveyard to summon it again. We're also playing the Pre-Preparations of Rites Great Search card. It'll let you add not only one of your ritual monsters from your deck to your hand, you can add either one, and the Shinobird Calling, so it gets you set up for your ritual summon. We're also playing Manju of the 10,000 Hands. This will search any ritual monster or any ritual spell, and Aratama, which when it's summoned will let you search any of your spirit monsters, including the ritual ones. And of course, like all the other spirits, this returns to your hand at the end of phase, so you can use this over and over again as long as it keeps coming back. In addition, we're playing Nikitama. This lets you gain an additional normal summon of a spirit the turn that it's normal summoned. So normally what you can do is go from Nikitama into Aratama, get your search, and then you can overlay these 2 to make our rank 4 toolbox, which is why we're playing so many rank 4s. Speaking of our rank 4s, I might as well go over these real quick. Most of it's just a rank 4 toolbox. You can play whatever rank 4 monsters you want in here. Utopia the Lightning I would obviously recommend. In addition, Crooked Cook is pretty good in this deck. While you control no other cards on the field, this card is unaffected by other cards, and during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this, destroy as many other cards you control as possible, and this gains 300 attack until the end of the turn for every monster destroyed. So oftentimes, because we have spirits, because these are returning to the hand, you're not going to have anything on the field. So having a monster that's unaffected by things, especially after you've already wiped their field a little bit, pretty nice. Also, we're playing Gagaga Samurai. If you're unfamiliar with this, it can basically detach to attack twice. It's only got 1900 attack, but oftentimes you're going to be wiping your opponent's field completely with Shinobaron, so being able to do that 3800, pretty nice. Everything else, like I said, just kind of whatever you feel like. We do play the 1 rank 8 monster just because we have the level 8s. There's a chance you could get both of them on the field and not have game. Moving back to the main deck, the rest of our monsters are just kind of situational. We play a lot of 1-ofs and 2-ofs because everything can be searched by Aratama, and also because of these 2. This one will summon a spirit out of the deck, this one will summon one out of the hand, and because they're special summoned, they won't return to your hand during the end phase, and they won't trigger their effects. A lot of these only have effects that trigger when they're normal summoned. So I picked the one with the highest attack and one that could attack a whole bunch. So if you summon this just to add more attack onto things, you clear the field, you get a 2000 beater or a 1700 beater that can attack the rest of their monsters. Yaksha's got 1900, so he's almost as good. He also has a pretty useful effect that lets you send one spell trap back to the hand that your opponent controls, which can be useful if they've just got one spell trap set and you want to summon your Peacock. Make sure it's not Strike, you summon this, send it back to their hand, and then you can summon out without having to worry about it. Either way, all of these are kind of exchangeable. You could swap them out for anything in the side deck. We're playing extra copies of each of them. In addition to Inaba White Rabbit, only has 700 attack, but it can attack your opponent's life points directly. So if they have something on their field that you're not going to be able to get rid of, this can be a pretty good option to summon out with, like, Baroness. I guess the only guy I didn't mention was the Shinobird Crane. It's decent just because it has 1500 attack. With Power Spot, it'll go up to 2000, and because it's wind, when it returns to your hand, you're going to be able to add one of your spirits or one of your rituals from your deck to your hand. Also, if it's on the field when you normal or special summon a spirit, you get to draw one card. So a decent play is to normal summon this and then special summon one of your spirits. So not only will you have something on board, but you'll be able to get that extra draw that you need. Everything else in here is just sort of defensive. We're playing the two Quaking Mirror Forces. It's decent with Shinobaron because he doesn't need to target face-up monsters. You can set your opponent's stuff with Quaking Mirror Force and then send them back to the hand or back to the extra deck with him. Drowning Mirror Force, really good, shuffles the monsters back into the deck, but it has to be a direct attack, which, like I said before, the spirits will often be off your field. You won't have anything, so you can actually resolve Drowning Mirror Force pretty regularly. Lost Wind, just a very good effect negation, very good against extra deck monsters. Also kind of a tech card if you wanted to swap this out for, say, Twin Twisters to get rid of back row, or for Battle Faders if your opponent's not playing a lot of monster negation. And then finally, Shinobird Healing. This is if a face-up spirit monster you control returns to the hand, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Also, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish one spirit from your graveyard to negate the attack and end the battle phase. So not only is this defense during your opponent's turn, if they're attacking, you'll often have multiple spirits in the graveyard, but during your turn, you're going to be able to pop their back row and their other monsters and stuff like that, even if you just have something like an Aratama. I think that pretty much covers everything except the side deck. I went over most of this already, and this is what I would recommend for the actual side deck. The Twin Twisters and the Battle Faders can come in use against certain matchups, which you would swap out the Lost Winds. You could swap out your other spirits for your spirits that you have in here, depending on what your matchup is. I didn't mention this guy. He's pretty neat. The turn he's summoned, you can target a monster your opponent controls. It becomes a spirit, and it will return to their hand during the end phase. Pretty neat effect, a little slow because you have to wait until the end phase, but it can be useful against certain things, especially stall decks or decks that use things like Beals that can't be destroyed by other means. But anyway, there's your deck for this week. Next week, I'll be looking at a Patreon request that involves Fire Kings, with maybe a spicy tech or two. Should be interesting. Until then, good luck and have fun.